Hello, hello. I am Amy Carrier, and I am live today with my weekly lesson for Amy Carrier's Classroom. And this is a big one. And I'm going to be talking about my own personal journey, even getting to this lesson today. So let me make sure we are online while I'm waiting for all of you to join me. And thank you. How's my connection? I think we're working. I'm. We really need to talk about boundaries today, which is what precipitated this lesson. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Jen Kaiser. How are you? Hey, oh my gosh, Amanda, this is a good lesson for you. Trust me, you'll want to stick around. Today, I'm going to be talking about boundaries. And there's kind of like a cascading effect that happens from your own boundaries. You can either get lost in the chaos of life, or you can actually keep yourself on track. And it's all dependent upon how good you are at setting your own boundaries, and then learning how to go from there. So it looks like, hello, thank you for the thumbs up. Tell me who's here today. I'm really happy to be back with you. I was here 2 weeks ago. I originally planned to do this lesson 2 weeks ago, but I had the opportunity to do another Rockstar Entrepreneur interview with Joseph Jong from Hong Kong. And that was a really cool interview. So if you have not seen it, make sure you watch it. And thank you for being here. So tell me in the comments who's here. Where are you watching from? Say hello. Let's get some thumbs up and some hearts going. And I see little tiny faces in those thumbs up, but send some comments in the comments of this video, please, so that other people can see who's here. And then I'm going to get into this really big lesson. And you can see in the description, I've actually hashtagged this with the word mindset. Because let me tell you, people, you have to change your mindset about your own boundaries. Oh my gosh, that's pretty much what it comes down to. So I'm going to give you some ideas, some things to think about, and to really consider applying to your own life. Before I get into it, however, I'm still waiting for you all to say hello. Put some comments down below to tell me who you are, where you're watching from. Why are you watching this video on boundaries from me? I mean, first of all, it's hot in Boston. I don't know how it is where you are, so tell me in the comments. I need to do this lesson today for myself. So even if you don't stick around and watch, I'm going to have to rewatch this for myself, because I've been all day. This has been a day of like one thing not lining up after another thing not lining up, and so many things I need to do. So I'm going to watch my own lesson to make sure that all of the mental notes that I've made to teach you, to talk to you guys about, to make sure that I really, truly, consciously get it. Because a lot of what comes to me for these lessons comes through kind of a subconscious level. And then I put it all together and organize it with all of my experience and my own life examples. So I am seeing comments looking at my phone, but not actually on my screen. I don't know why that is. So you guys can see me, right? Can you see me? Say hello. Say something in the comments, please, so I know that you're seeing me live. Once again, the Facebook interface just doesn't work on my computer. So I'm going to be looking down at my phone a bit to read your comments. Let me actually do that right now. So we've got Shabazz, how are you? Daniel Ahmed says it's 39 Celsius. You know what? It's about that in Boston, where I am right now. It's still early in the day, so we haven't reached that peak, but today and tomorrow, we're about to be that hot. So, Jazzy Khan, how are you? Thank you very much for your compliment. Malik Jadi, Hello from California, my friend. Jamari Craig. Jamari's tuning in from Boston, where it's getting hotter by the minute. And Raymond Ula, how are you? Amanda, thank you for the comment that you can see me. That's helpful. Shazad, thank you. So I want you guys to tell me in the comments, how good are you at setting boundaries? Just say, I'm good. I'm not good at setting boundaries. I need help with setting boundaries. I don't even know what boundaries are. Tell me your relationship to boundaries, okay? I will respond. This is a very interactive lesson today. It's interactive with my own personal experiences, the things I'm going through right now, and also with all of you. So, hey, Jamari. Jamari, I'm so proud of you. I'm not gonna change the whole subject. I just want you to know how proud I am of you and where you are and what you're doing. And hopefully I get to see you again someday soon. Mohammed Qasim, thank you. Boundaries. Boundaries are interesting, my friend. Ahmad Walla says, so can we call these boundaries also barriers or hurdles in our way toward our goals? Yes, 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 exactly. All right, see, I'm talking with my hands and my whole body, so I'm getting hot, so I have to turn the fan on me. Okay, maybe that'll help. Yes, so boundaries are, I mean, the definition of the word boundary means things stopping or in the way, right? And if anybody wants to actually look up the definition on webstersdictionary.com, go ahead and put it in the comments, because the thing is, and you have to stick with me here, so I really encourage you to take some notes, because there's not even a really clear, organized way to do this, because life is not clear and organized, which I'm sure you all know. By the way, is the video jumping? It's jumping for me. It's kind of like, Are you guys still seeing me clearly? Let's see. Okay, Amanda Robbins says she's trying to set boundaries. Kashif Samoro says she's also trying to set boundaries. Good. So what I'm about to talk about is going to help you, because here's the thing. Any more comments, guys? Anybody else? Are you really, really good at setting boundaries? Are you really, really bad? Do you not even know how to set them? Because Alex says boundary is something that needs to be met with a yes or a no. He says, I'm kind of a knower. He is. That's why he's so important for the classroom, because he's the bouncer. He says no to people who've crossed a line, whereas I tend to be more understanding and a little more permeable. And it's important for me, especially in my work with this classroom, I need a teammate who can balance me when I can't say no, and Alex is it. So to really understand, okay, Amanda says it's a crystal clear connection. Good. So here's the thing. If you do not set boundaries, like Alex said, just say no. If you do not say no to people, you are going to find yourself always going in the direction somebody else wants you to go. Somebody asks you to help with something. Somebody asks you to do something. Somebody thinks you're really good at something, so they want you to do it. And hey, I get it. I ask people to join my classroom as a mentor teacher. I get it. And I honor and respect the boundaries and the limitations and the priorities that people have. In fact, one of the new mentor teachers who's coming in, she and I have been having a conversation. She's a little concerned because she cannot guarantee, she can't broadcast weekly. And I said, it doesn't matter to me. I value what you have to say to the world, so it's okay. I'm going to work with your boundaries, and we're going to make this work for us, for the classroom, for each other, and for the rest of the world that's going to benefit from her lessons. But the thing is, you will always, always find that people are trying to get you to do something they want you to do. Tell me in the comments if that ever happens to you. Do people try to get you to do something for them? Maybe they need extra help. Maybe they legitimately deserve to be helped. Maybe they're lazy and they want you to do their work. Maybe they're unable to just do something by themselves. Does that ever happen to you? Tell me in the comments. And also tell me in the comments if people ask you for help because you always say yes. Do you feel so overwhelmed and so burdened by all of the people who just assume, oh, I can ask Amy, she'll always help. Or I can ask someone, she'll always help. Or I can ask Amanda, she'll always help. Amanda always says yes. And what ends up happening is that people create this expectation externally, that other people start to believe that they can always ask that person for help. And this is more common with women, typically, than it is with men, but it's not exclusive to women. So I would really like to know who has experienced this. Who has become the person in your life, in your circle, in your family, who everyone knows they can rely on to help out. If that's you, show me a high five in the comments, give me some thumbs up, say yes in the comments. Actually, that's much more helpful. And let me actually peep at the comments really quick because I've got lots of them here. So Stephen Putter, hey, how you doing? He says, I don't do that thing. Never do for people what they can do for themselves. That's a good rule. So you're going to have to create a new mindset around this, and you're going to have to come up with some rules. So right there, Stephen just came up with a rule for you. If it's something that that person can do for themselves, Stephen will not do it. That's just his rule. That helps him set his boundaries. So what else do we have here? Nokusiba is watching from Sweden. I'm sorry, I probably butchered your name. And says, yes, I always help people, but all the time you do for them. But when it's your turn, no one's ever able to do or help you. Yes. Does that happen to anyone else watching right now? That you always help other people, but when the time comes and you need help, no one's available. Everyone's busy. Does that happen to you? And I'll tell you why in a minute, and why you really need to change your mindset and your behaviors. So tell me, I want more comments. I'm only looking at the comments here. If this happens to you, that people are not available for you when you need help, tell me in the comments. Okay, someone says yes. Umar Turk says yes. Payush says yes, and he's from India. Hello, India. Hello from Boston. Amanda says, I definitely used to be that person in the family, but I did start setting boundaries. Good. And started saying no. And she's bringing up a really important point, because she says, I felt sorry and she felt guilty at first, but she stayed strong. And it's a learned behavior. You don't just overnight get really good at saying no to people. But the first time you say no, you have to honor yourself, kind of pat yourself on the back and say, yes, I did it. I said no. I set a boundary. Because when you say no to other people, you're saying yes to yourself. Because every one of you watching, just like me, we only have 24 hours in the day. And if you're always responding to other people and always doing what they want you to do, that's your time that's being taken away minute by minute, hour by hour. And you cannot live a life where you're constantly giving it away. Because you also only live so many years, right? And none of us know how many years that actually is. We'd like to think it's 80, 90, 100 years. But I know that everybody watching this has lost someone close to them at an early age before they should have passed away. So you have to honor, you have to really appreciate your time, your life. And that's why it's so important to learn how to set boundaries. And as I mentioned with Stephen's example, it's a mindset. What rules, what tricks are you going to incorporate into your daily life to allow yourself to set these boundaries? And it can be anything. It could be, for example, you say, I'm only going to say yes twice today. See what happens. So, or you could say, I'm not going to say yes to anybody today because I have so much to do. I have so many deadlines. I have so many priorities, and I need some time for myself. Maybe that's your mindset. Maybe that's your rule for today. And you notice how I'm saying today. Every single day is going to be different. When you wake up in the morning, set your goals. Say, this is what I know I have to do today, but what I'm doing for myself today is this. I'm setting some boundaries. I don't have time to say yes to anything else or to anyone else today. So that's just my rule today. It doesn't mean that I won't have that time tomorrow. And I'm actually speaking about myself here. Actually, Saman knows. Saman and I work together Monday through Friday. And the first message I sent her this morning is I don't have time to work on the things that she and I have prioritized as being really important for our work together. So that brings up another point that I want to talk about, which is about your priorities. But before I go into priorities, I want to look at the comments again. So someone says she finds it difficult because she thinks she'll hurt people's feelings. Does anybody else have a hard time saying no because you're worried about hurting people's feelings? Tell me in the comments. Because I'm going to tell you about that whole hurting feelings thing, okay? Shabazz says, I never help for that reason. He will help me next time, okay? Payush says, can't talk false for growing business in compare to racer. I don't know what you're saying, my friend. You can rewrite your comment if you'd like. Sharoon says, I know my goals, but someone comes into my life every time to distract me. It's why you have to set your boundaries, because there's always going to be a distraction. Not just a person, a distraction can be anything. I think you all have met my, I think you've all met my furry companion over here. Here, let me show him to you. You see this guy? He's black, so you might not see him. This is Mulligan. Mulligan distracts me, calls my attention constantly. And he's probably one of my best teachers because he does two things. Number one, he distracts me and makes me choose to prioritize. Even if he's meowing, I have to finish doing what I'm doing in this moment. Or conversely, on the other side, he reminds me. He might make some noise and distract me from what I do, from what I'm doing. But at the same time, he might also be pointing out the fact that I'm spending way too much time on whatever I'm doing. So he's kind of like a little magician, a little wizard. So I appreciate him very much, but he can be both a distraction and a reminder to keep myself focused. So I hope you all have something or someone in your life that helps with that, because you have to stay true to your own goals and your own priorities. So we've kind of talked about setting boundaries. You have to say no. You have to remember what it is you're saying yes to for yourself. And remember always that when you say no to someone, to a project, you're saying yes to yourself. And don't get me wrong, if you have to say no to someone because, let's say you're maxed out, you're just done, you just need a break, you need to put yourself first, maybe you need to go take a nap, maybe you need to take a walk, maybe you need to go meditate, that is saying yes to yourself, okay? I don't want anyone feeling that that means if you say no to somebody and you actually have 30 minutes of time, but you're choosing not to give it to that person because you need to do something for yourself, that's prioritizing yourself. Prioritizing yourself is the most important thing you'll ever do, because who else is going to prioritize you if not yourself? Can you answer that question for me? Who is going to prioritize you if not yourself? And I'm sorry, I feel like my fan just blew up some cat fur in my face. It's kind of tickling my nose. If you've watched me before, you know that this happens. The difference is right now, the cat's not on the desk with his tail in my face. So let me take a quick break and say hello to Cynthia Reynolds. Hello. And Helen Lee, how are you? And Nasser and Jill Camp Melton, hello. So Stephen Putter says, if you run on empty, you have nothing to give. Fill your cup first and give away only the overflow. I love that. Stephen is just full of mindset suggestions for you, mindset tricks. Along the lines of what Stephen just wrote, I say to people, if you're on a plane and that plane is crashing, what do the flight attendants tell you to do? If you've never been on a plane, I'll describe this to you. If you're on a plane and the plane is going to crash, you're up at 10, 20, 30,000 feet. And if the plane's going to crash, the pressure is going to drop. And inside the airplane, there's oxygen. Well, when the plane is actually going down, which God forbid, nobody wants that to happen, you're not going to be able to breathe because the plane doesn't have time to pressurize the cabin. But oxygen masks drop from the ceiling, and what all the flight attendants every single time you fly tell you, even if you're flying with a child, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you then put it on the child or the person you're flying with. And why is that? I'm sure you guys know, but the reason is because you have to save yourself before you save somebody else. You have to save yourself before you save somebody else. Okay? So that is prioritizing yourself. So let me look at the comments. Umar Turk says wife can priorities instead. I don't know if that's part of an earlier comment, my friend. Nasser says that he's watching and sharing. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone who is watching and contributing to this conversation. And go ahead and hit the share button right now if you haven't already, because I promise someone in your world needs to hear this today. They might learn something, they might have their own aha moment and stop doing something. So let me tell you about priorities and goals. And it's very much connected to setting your boundaries and being able to say no. I have priorities. Every day I have priorities. I have priorities that are part of my benchmarks that are getting me to my larger goals. So why is it that this particular lesson I actually scheduled for a month ago, it got postponed a week and then postponed a week, and then I had the opportunity to do a Rockstar interview with Joseph Jong, so it got then postponed out 2 weeks. Isn't that a priority for me to do my weekly lessons? The answer is yes, because my weekly lessons are part of my larger goal. My larger goal is related to this classroom and making sure that as many people around the world as possible learn these really important skills and mindsets and soft skills and abilities that aren't being taught in school and aren't really being taught by anybody. So it's important to me that I teach every week and that I find mentor teachers who have valuable content to teach you. And it's important to me that they teach as often as they are able. They, not as often as I would like. I would love for them all to teach every single week, but even I can't teach every single week. And I'm not going to put an expectation on them. They're part of my community. They're part of the larger goal, and I honor their boundaries. So if teaching my weekly lesson is a priority, but I delayed it a total of 3 times for a total of 4 weeks, isn't that me not meeting my priorities? And the answer is no. Because this whole process of getting to this lesson today, even though it came into my mind and it formed a month ago, and it was first marketed a month ago, I still had priorities and I still had my own boundaries that came before doing this lesson today. So I actually had to go through a process, and you all will never see what happens on the back end of running this classroom unless you're one of the mentor teachers. And if you are, and if you're watching, thank you for being here. But you must understand that my work, my day-to-day work that pays my bills, my bigger goals, the work that I do to bring my classroom to a much bigger place in the world, those are my top priorities. The other 24-hour a day top priority for me is me and my health. That trumps everything. And it has trumped everything in the past for me, and I want you to hear this. I want you all to hear this. My health is number one. So that means if I need to take a nap, I take a nap. If I have to cancel a phone call and take a nap, I do. Because I lived all of my life never saying no, always working with this weird kind of family-based guilt that I wasn't doing enough. And someone else said something about family. Families are tricky because families will teach you behavior that's not necessarily good for you. They will teach you beliefs that aren't necessarily good for you. Does that happen to anyone here? Let's see a yes in the comments if you've learned some behaviors from your family, or you feel like you're beholden to, you feel like you owe your family, that you have to do things for them. It's very tricky. But remember the oxygen mask. Even though you love your family, you love that child of yours sitting next to you in the airplane, you still have to put your oxygen mask on first. And it's tricky with family because that's how you grew up. You're literally trained. Your life curriculum comes from growing up with these people in your family who probably exhibit the same behaviors, or who have trained you to feel guilty if you don't do what they do. So I lived all of my life not saying no and working hard, but not thinking I was doing enough. And then my body started to break down. My health started to break down. I started to lose my health. And for several years, I wasn't able to do the things that I love to do. I couldn't run anymore. And then I couldn't walk anymore. And then I couldn't paint and draw and do calligraphy anymore because of the nerve damage that was happening in my body. So I had to learn a new mindset, and it took years to learn how to say no to everything outside of me in order to say yes to myself, including, this is the hardest thing in the world, I had to say no to work. Now, what do you do if you aren't working? Where does your money come from? Well, that's another conversation for another time. But I actually lost all of my money because I was living off of it while I was taking care of my health. I don't regret it. Don't get me wrong, I don't regret it. If you find yourself in a position where putting yourself first means you're losing money, or you're losing friends, or sometimes even relatives, you have to say yes to yourself first. You have to develop a mindset that says, I love me more than all these other things. It's not that you don't love your family. It's not that you're not going to work again, but you have to take care of yourself first, because you're of no value to your loved ones, to your employer, to your friends, if you are not well, if you're not healthy physically, if you're not healthy mentally, if you're not healthy emotionally. If you're just an angry person, nobody wants to be around you, and it's because you're not good at actually setting your own priorities and creating a life for yourself that fulfills you and makes you happy, then you've got to do the inner work. You have to examine what your priorities are. And sometimes you need to set your big goals aside, and you just need to live for today, for right now. And that's okay. Because you'll never forget. If you have goals and dreams, you'll never forget them. But sometimes you're not meant to work on them right now. You're meant to work on yourself. Because imagine if your dream were to come when you were in a mindset of being angry and frustrated and tired and not healthy and just not taking care of yourself. And then all of a sudden your dream showed up, but you're not ready for your dream. You can't just, boom, transition to doing that amazing thing until you get your mind straight. So if you find your life slowing you down It's teaching you how to set your boundaries, how to set your priorities in this day, in this moment, and to set your larger goals according to what is best for you. And for me, for several years, my larger goal had to be taking care of me, learning a new mindset, learning a work-life balance that actually worked for me. There were so many things that I had to learn. But I'm telling you this because I want you all to know that this is a normal part of the human journey. And if you find yourself on it right now or in the future or at any point, sit back, do some self-assessment, and ask yourself what it is that you need in this. And if you don't know how to do that, just sit with yourself, quiet your mind, and just be. Sometimes you can meditate, you can get some information, you can get some answers, and you might just hear, I need a vacation. I need to get away. I need to take a break. I need a nap. If that's what you're hearing, then you have to do it. You absolutely have to do it. So, do you all understand what I've just been saying about prioritizing yourself over anything else? So I've described this lesson today by saying that it's about boundaries, it's about priorities, and it's about goals. Now you'll notice I didn't come out here and say, hey everybody, we're going to talk about how you can set goals. And trust me, Facebook is full of short little 2-minute videos that say, hey, these are the top 3 tips to get you to set your goals and achieve them like that, to get you to have a 6-figure salary. You know what? There are no tricks. There are no hacks to life other than learning yourself, loving yourself, prioritizing yourself, and getting yourself in a mindset that will allow you to do what it is that you want to do. What do you think, guys? Does this make sense? Let me check out the comments. Amin says, this is what we need. Yeah, help ourselves first of all. Yep. Ismail Khan says, yes, ma'am. Mohammed Ashgar says, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Ismail Khan says, yes. Nasser says, you cannot succeed until you set the correct priorities. That is so true, my friend. Hello, Kauthar. Are you still here? Kauthar, say yes in the comments if you're still here. Yay! Hey, Vin, how are you? Stephen Putter, you're the only you that's going to walk with you for eternity. Take care of you first. Stephen, you are just full of these amazing mindsets. I would love it if you could write a post in the classroom with all of these mindsets, these comments that you've written here today. And let's just call it Stephen Putter's wisdom. And a lot of people in the classroom should know Stephen Putter. He was the very first testimonial video we ever released in the classroom. And actually someone, I know you're watching right now, would you put the link to Stephen Putter's video in the comments here and also post it at the top of the classroom so people can get to know Stephen Putter? So Tanzil says, nice lecture today on priorities. Thank you. Nasser says yes. Amanda says yes. Okay. All right, good. Looks like everybody's on this same boat. And let's see. Uzair says, I think what you said makes perfect sense. It was the first time I heard you and I absolutely loved it. Thank you, Uzair. I'm so glad you're here. If this is the first time you've heard me, maybe you're not a member of my classroom. So all of you watching right now, this is my weekly lesson. I teach this for my classroom called Amy Carrier's Classroom, which is a public group. It's a free classroom here on Facebook. I have 15 expert teachers from around the world who broadcast live every week in the classroom, in addition to myself. So go join Amy Carrier's Classroom right now. Someone, will you put the link to our classroom in the comments as well? You can go to amycarriersclassroom.com, or you can search Amy Carrier's Classroom on Facebook. It's just a group. It's free to join. The lessons are all free. Just go join. Kauthar, are you here, my dear? I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments if you're still here. Nadim says, impressive talking. Thank you. I appreciate that. Someone says, vacation doesn't mean travel. Sometimes you need a vacation from your stress and your work. Yes. Sometimes you need a vacation from life. From life. And you know, this is why my only mention about goals here today is about what I want you to think about in terms of goals is your own personal goals, not your professional goals, not your business goals, not your financial goals, your personal goals. Are your goals happiness, joy, love, travel? What are your personal goals? What are the things that only you can achieve for yourself? Tell me in the comments, what are your personal goals right now in life? And then I'm going to make a connection. I'm going to draw this whole thing together so that you can see how boundaries, priorities, and goals all fit together. So tell me your goals, your personal goals in the comments right now, please. So let's see. What do we have for goals? Thank you, Stephen Putter, saying it's worth tuning in. Stephen, what are your personal goals? I want you all to answer this question in the comments. What are your personal goals that you have for yourself? Not your professional goals, not your job goals, not your project goals, not your financial goals. What are your personal goals? Do you want to learn a language? Do you want to become more patient? Do you want to meditate more? Do you want to read more? What are your personal goals? So let's see in the comments. Steven says legacy. Is that your, to help? See, okay. Mohammed Asghar, your personal goal says to help someone. Have you been here for the whole lesson? Because that's exactly what I don't want you to say, that your personal goals are to help someone. Unless you happen to be someone who's never helped another person in your life, so that's a new direction for you, that's fine. But I'm looking for your personal goals, what you need to do for yourself personally. So I want to know what that is, because that is where you take care of yourself, not your goals for other people, not your goals even for your family, not your goals for money or work. Tell me what your goals are. Payush says, sit at home without doing anything. That's good. That's good. Here in the West, it's like people they don't know how to do that. And they feel extremely guilty for doing it because we're taught to just work, work, work. Like the Rihanna song, work, work, work. You have to work and work harder and do more and sign up for more things and take your kids to more activities, achieve more goals professionally, get more awards. That's what we're taught. But we're never taught to just sit at home and be. So let me see the other goals you have here. Personal goals for yourself. So Asa Aboud says, yes, I would love to learn the Dutch language. That's awesome. Asa, what are you doing to learn Dutch? Are you prioritizing learning Dutch? Are you setting it as a goal for yourself? Because unless you start setting your priorities and setting your boundaries and saying no to other things, you're never going to learn Dutch, because you actually have to find resources or people or classes or lessons, or buy an audio language program. If you don't do those things, if you don't have those small steps as priorities, you'll never learn Dutch. So are you actually setting it as a goal that has smaller steps and priorities, and then setting some boundaries if anything gets between you and you learning Dutch? And it's not that hard. Maybe you say 1 hour a day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. So that's 3 hours a week. I focus on learning Dutch. Okay. So whatever that 1 hour is on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday night, set your boundaries. You don't do anything else. Nobody comes in and disturbs you. You don't ever give that time away to anybody else. That's just for you and your future Dutch speaking. Okay. And Tanzil says, my personal goal is to learn English with a British accent. Okay. Same for you, Tanzil. What are you doing? How are you achieving that personal goal for yourself? Set some benchmarks. Make it a priority to do a little bit every week so that you can get there. And it sounds like you need to find some British friends so that you can really practice that accent. Nadim says, if we want to live in the civilized world, and if you want to look prominent, you must show yourself as helpful. Don't create problems for others. Yeah, that's a good rule. Tanzil says, my personal goal is, to learn English. Sorry, I already read that. Asa Aboud says, but I'm doing the Dutch way, taking it easy. See? You're already learning Dutch culture. If I read that comment correctly, I think that's what it meant. Abrar Malik says, personal goals are lose weight, gain a business degree and knowledge, increase wealth, start a business. Okay, those are really big goals for you, and you listed like 5 of them. So what are you doing right now to set boundaries around the small steps that you can take to get there? That's my question for you, my friend. Hey, Tony Clark, how are you? Nice to see you. All right, so Amin Jafar says, I'm a teacher of French and I want to learn English. Will you help me? Your English is so simple. Keep going. Join my classroom. It's a fantastic way to learn English because there are 15 teachers who will all teach you in English for free every single week. All right. So on that note, how much time do we have left? Okay. So my priority is to end this lesson today a little bit before my typical 1 hour. And because I have other priorities today, and that's how I'm setting some boundaries for myself. So I want to know from you all, what one thing have you learned today that you can turn around and do in your life? Tell me in the comments how you can set a boundary, enforce your boundaries, get yourself closer to your goal, set some priorities. How are you putting you first? That's what I want to know in the comments, please. Please tell me. Hello, Didar. How are you? Hey, Dave Wolf. How are you? So this is all about you, my friends. I did my work today. I prioritized and set some boundaries so that I could do my weekly lesson for Amy Carrier's classroom today. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting all of your comments and answering you all and talking with you all and seeing all the thumbs up and the hearts and the smiley faces. That's my priority. But my priority is to finish this within an hour, and then I'm going to go on to all the other things that I have to do today. So tell me in the comments, how are you setting your boundaries? How are you moving yourself forward to loving yourself more, prioritizing yourself more, taking care of yourself more? How are you doing that? What are you going to do when you stop watching this video? How are you going to change your mindset and do something differently than you were doing before you watched this video? That's the only thing I want you to do. That, I lied, there are 2 things I want you to do. I want you to join my virtual classroom and join me every single Monday at 1 p.m. New York time, with the exception of next week. I'm introducing 2 of our new mentor teachers next Monday, and that will be at 12 p.m. New York time, not my regular 1 p.m. But tell me in the comments right now, what are you going to do when I end this video, when you finish watching? What are you going to do to set boundaries, prioritize yourself, and get yourself closer to your goals? Let's check the comments. Tell me anything. Say, hey, I'm going to go eat lunch. Hey, good. I'm going to go cuddle with my kids. I'm going to go pet my dog. I'm going to go read a book. Whatever it is. How are you making yourself a priority today? Isis, dear, how are you? Everyone, send Isis lots and lots and lots of love. Isis is recovering from a major organ transplant, and she's a beautiful young soul. And I'm so proud of her. Isis, I love you. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. And I'm always praying for you, and I'm always thinking about you. And I'm so amazed by you since I met you. I think you were 14 when I met you. Okay, so what are you going to do today? Hey, love, how are you? What are you going to do today when you finish watching this video? How are you going to set a boundary today? How are you going to prioritize yourself today? Tell me that in the comments right now. Tell me in the comments, how are you prioritizing yourself? Okay, Uzair Sheikh says, the plan is to get 8 hours of quality sleep. You know what? That is an outstanding priority, an outstanding goal and boundary to set for yourself, because that is taking care of yourself. Sleep allows your body to heal. It allows your mind to heal. It allows you to be fresh and ready to face a whole new day of a lot more crazy things that are going to come your way and bombard you, that you're going to have to actually say, hold on, let me see, is this part of my priority? If it is, then let it in. If it's not, you have to say no. Sleep is the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Good, good, good. Payush says, I will sleep now with no time boundaries. So lots of people are sleeping. That's great. Do you know that when your body tells you you're tired, you should actually listen to it? That will keep you healthy. That will keep you really mentally healthy also. So that's fantastic. Saman says she's going to learn how to say no. Good. Good. So practice saying no. Okay? Practice saying no. And okay, anything else? Anybody else going to implement something, do something different today to practice putting yourself first, setting your boundaries, prioritizing yourself, and getting yourself closer to your goals? What one thing can you do right now when you finish watching this video? I'm waiting. Tell me one thing you can do. Okay, let's see. Durrani says, I want to sleep now. He's in Tanzania, so it's very late. Tanzania is 7 hours ahead of me. So 7 or 8, maybe 8 hours ahead of me. So it's 10 p.m. almost for you. And Paolo says, please help me. It's 1:51 a.m. and I can't sleep. You need to sleep, my friend. So my suggestion is you actually meditate. Take some time and meditate or read. That will help you. Usually people can't sleep because there's too much rolling around in your mind. So either try meditation, try mindfulness. You can listen to some relaxing music, or you can read a book, which will have you thinking about something else. And Stephen Putter says, what if helping people is your first priority? Ah, Stephen Putter, were you here at the beginning? That's how I spent my life. Helping people is still my first priority, but I am one of my own people, and I have to take care of myself first, because I'm not fit to take care of other people if I am not taking care of myself. Uzair Sheikh says, me and the wife are thinking of sleep training our little one. She won't sleep without us. Don't know if that counts as setting a boundary or breaking a barrier. Well, I think, Uzair, you're a parent, so you should trust your own instincts around your parenting. So yeah, I think it counts for whatever you want it to count for. And Payush says he's watching at 30 minutes after midnight from India. You're welcome, my friend. And Abrar says he's going to list down all the daily activities which would take him closer to his goals with time allotted to each one. Good. Very good. Okay. Any last comments about what you're going to do when you're finished watching this video? If not, I'm going to say thank you all for prioritizing watching my weekly lesson in Amy Carrier's classroom. And make sure you join us for free. Go to amycarriersclassroom.com. Sorry, something popped up on the screen. Lots of things popped up on the screen. Ah! Why won't it go away? Okay, well, there's something in front of my face on my screen, so I can't even see myself anymore. Hey, there, now I can see you guys. I don't know what's covering my face. I know you can't see it, but I can't actually see through it myself. So I think that means that something is putting up a boundary for me, and I'm just going to say yes to it. So thank you all for joining. If you're not a member of my virtual classroom, where I teach these lessons for free every week, and so do 15 other experts from around the world. They teach leadership, they teach self-empowerment, they teach entrepreneurship, they teach career skills, they teach cryptocurrency, basically everything that's not taught in schools. That's my priority. And I have done a lot of work to get to this point, so thank you for being part of our community, and take advantage of this classroom. Take advantage of these free lessons. They aren't going to be available forever, but they are right now because we haven't started monetizing them yet. But my promise to you is that I will always, always, always deliver my free lessons and the free lessons of all my other mentor teachers. They will always remain available for you for free for 24 hours. So make sure you go look at the schedule to learn who is teaching and what they are teaching at what time. And if you can't watch live, be sure to put it on your calendar and prioritize watching that lesson within the next 24 hours, okay? And we always repost them in the classroom so that you can get a reminder to go back and watch. So, my friends, thank you for being here. Go to amycarriersclassroom.com. Join us today. I also invite you to follow me here on Facebook. I'm Amy Carrier. And if you want to watch any of my other prior lessons, you can find them all on my YouTube channel, which is Amy Carrier Empowers. And someone, I'll ask you to put that in the comments as well. And on that note, I wish you all a very self-empowered, self-prioritizing day, morning, night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you all. Bye-bye.